But here's the thing, right? A lot of times when you are the top of the bottom, you get comfortable, right? You get to a space where you're like, man, I'm killing it, I'm crushing it, and you get comfortable and you chill. But when you realize that you are not maxing out your greatness, and then you get introduced to somebody that actually helps you realize that all you gotta be is you, right? It ain't even about doing. All you gotta be is you to max out. We have the Myron Golden in the building.
What's up, bro?
Brother, I appreciate you, man.
Right back
Thank
at
you
you,
so
man.
much
Right back at
for
you. So I am an entrepreneur. I'm an author. I teach people financial literacy, and I teach business owners how to scale their business in 4 moves. And the principles that I teach, I was just sharing with you before the show started, last year in 2021, we probably had somewhere between 10 and 15 people have earned $1 million a day award where they generated over $1 million in revenue in a day. And we gave away somewhere between 30 and 40 $100,000 a day awards, 100K day awards in 2021. And so what I do is I teach people how to scale their business in 4 moves, but all of the principles that I teach in business, they're all based on biblical principles. It all comes from the Bible. In fact, people say, well, Myron, like, what's your favorite book? The Bible. What's your favorite book in the Bible? Genesis. What's your favorite chapter in Genesis? Genesis chapter 1. And it's when I'm reading Genesis chapter 1, I'm going to write a book on it because there are so many success principles in Genesis chapter 1. It's almost like God gave us a wink and said, well, in case you don't get to chapter 2, I want you to be okay. Be a lot, do a lot. Do a lot, have a lot. Now, here's what's really interesting about that whole formula, because it literally is a formula.
Yeah.
People think the way to change an output, so a result is an output, right? So if I do exercise, the output is going to be, I'm going to be stronger. If I eat right, the exercise is going to be healthier, right? If I drink a lot of water, the output, the result of that is I'm going to be hydrated, right? So people attempt to change outputs by trying harder. I submit to you, the number one reason people who are watching this podcast right now are struggling and working really hard, but what they're working at is not working for them, is because they're working on having the result instead of working on being the impetus of that result. So it doesn't talk about tennis, it doesn't talk about race car driving, but the Bible talks about business over and over and over and over and over again. I mean, the Bible is a book that talks about, highlights business. A dream cometh through a multitude of business. That's in the Old Testament. Somebody says, well, give me a New Testament principle for business. First Thessalonians chapter 4, verse number 11 and 12. It says, and that you study to be quiet and to do your own business. Doing what? Working with your hands as we commanded you. Why? That you may walk honestly toward them that are without. That talked about paying your bills on time, and that ye may have lack of nothing. God's plan for you to have lack of nothing is for you to have your own business. I didn't put that in the Bible. It was in there when I got up. So I just happened to notice it in there. I'm like, how come nobody's talking about this? Right? And so interestingly enough, I think that like first things, like if I introduce myself to you and I say, hey man, I'm Myron Golden, I'm the author of XYZ, let's say I'm the author of Boss Moves, for instance, right? So the most important thing that I want you to know about me is that I'm the author of Boss Moves, because that's the thing I told you first.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's really interesting about God? The first thing he told us about himself. It's not that he's good, it's not that he's loved, it's not that he's holy, it's not that he's just. The first thing God tells us about God is, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. So the first thing that God tells us about God is that he's creative. Innovation, that means you create something that the marketplace is screaming for or the marketplace desperately needs. You find a hole in the marketplace and you fill that hole with something that the marketplace is going to love. That's innovation. Then you have marketing. Marketing is the art and science of discovering and developing in other people a desire for more and more of your product, your service, or your opportunity. That's marketing. And then you have money management. Money management is managing the money so the outgo doesn't exceed the income, so the upkeep does not become the downfall of the business. Those are the 3 functions. But there are 4 ways to grow a business. And here they are. Here are the 4 moves. Lead generation. So a person needs to learn how to create great lead generation offers. Prospecting is a waste of time. I don't care if you sell insurance. I don't care if you sell cars. Doesn't matter if you sell insurance, cars, vitamins, houses. Prospecting is a waste of time. Do you know why? Because prospecting is you trying to find people to sell stuff to. You say, Myron, how do I find people to sell my stuff to? And I always say, do you want me to answer that question, or do you want me to answer the question you should have asked? Because the question you should have asked is not how do I find people to sell my stuff to. The question you should have asked is how do I make myself findable for people who already want to buy what I already have to sell? And so if I can make myself more findable for the people who already want to buy, there's stuff you already want to buy right now, right? And as soon as you find it, you're going to buy it. There's stuff I want to buy right now. As soon as I find it, I'm going to buy it. So nobody has to find me and talk me into buying it, right? So how do I make myself more findable for people who already want to buy what I want to sell? I'm going to tell you something that will change your life, Ash. There are right now thousands, probably tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands, perhaps even millions of people in the world right now who would happily pay you whatever you charge for the transformation you create for them.
100%.
They just don't know you exist.
Yeah.
So the question then is, how do I make myself findable for those people, right? Okay, so that's number one, lead generation. You need to create lead generation offers, better lead generation offers, and more lead generation offers. That's number one. Number two, core product offers. And I'm going to put this all in a formula to show you how to scale business 100,000, 280%. I'll show you how to do that, okay, in a minute. So core product offers. So that's the main thing that you sell. Here's the problem with most businesses. They think that the only thing they sell is the main thing they sell. But the main thing you sell is only one of the things you should be selling. Because every solution that we create for the marketplace creates 10 new problems. I've got my iPhone right here in my pocket, right? So I bought my iPhone. What did I need? I immediately, before I left the Verizon store, when I bought my iPhone, I had to buy a screen protector. Because if I drop my phone, I don't want the screen to break. I want the screen protector to break. I had to buy a phone cover. I had to buy a pop socket. So now I got all this stuff on the outside of my phone, not to mention the apps and the ebooks and all the stuff I bought for the inside of my phone. So this solution created a whole world, a whole universe of new problems that had to be solved. So if I create the iPhone, it would behoove me to be the one that creates the screen, the related products, and the phone cover, or the phone protector, and the pop socket, and whatever, and the apps. The more of the ecosystem for my invention that I sell to people, the more of that money I'm keeping in my ecosystem, my economic ecosystem. Ask yourself this question: what's the payoff? What's the payoff that they get when they buy this thing from me? If the payoff is worth 100,000, then the offer has to be worth at least 10. It's actually worth 100, but let's just say it's worth at least 10% of that, right? Yep. So if I can help somebody make $1 million. Now there may be other people out there who will do this. Help somebody make $1 million and only charge them $3,000. I'm not that guy. Right. I'm not that guy, right? If I'm going to help you make $1 million, that's got to be worth at least $100,000. Right? And so look at the payoff. Don't make the value of your offer, the pieces, how many workbooks they get, how many videos, how many whatever. Please don't make the value of your offer your process. If you show somebody your process, all you're doing is showing them how hard it is. They're not going to want to do it. Okay? Don't make it your person, because then you're going to be the most sought after person. You might be making a lot of money, but you won't have any time, right? So when you sell a coaching program, for instance, don't make it wrapped up in your time. They don't want your time. What they want is their time. It's like, would you rather pay me $100,000 to get 4 hours of my time, or would you rather pay me $100,000 to buy back the rest of your life? Right? It's a wrap, right? Yeah. Anything is hard if you don't know how to do it. But once you learn this, it's almost like there's this inside track, right? That some people know about it, and everybody else is just doing it the hard way, right? And it's so fascinating when you watch people work. Like, why are you doing it that way? That's so grueling. And so you just show them a couple of levers to move, and it changes the game.
And so let me ask you something, right? So these 4 moves, somebody's listening right now might think like, man, I gotta get back on the grind. I'm not like I'm not hustling hard enough. What's your thoughts about the hustle and the grind?
So hustling. So here's what I'm gonna say. Working hard doesn't necessarily make you more deserving of success. It does make you more tired. And it can make you a better person. I believe if you're going to work on something, you should work hard at it instead of being slothful, right? But I don't believe hard work is the key to success. I believe the key to success is to work the principles, right? I call principles God's automation. So if you work the principles work for you. If you work with principles work for you. If you work against principles work against you. That is a war you can't win, right? And so my recommendation, instead of working hard at what's not working, work hard to figure out what would work better, and then work on that, right? So what does a tree have to do to, and you've heard me ask this before, and I asked, what does a tree have to do to grow apples? People say it has to be planted in the ground, it has to be watered, it has to be fertilized. But the most important thing it has to do is be an apple tree, right? I live in Florida. I've never seen an orange grow on an apple tree. Why? Because the fruit of anything has to match the root of that thing. And see, what happens is people are trying to produce a fruit for which they have no root. I just understand how it works now. I've generated $3.8 million in 27 minutes.
Sheesh.
$3,852,000 in 27 minutes in sales. Now, But and that's a lot.
Yeah.
But there are people who make money faster than that. Yeah. In fact, there's a Forbes magazine from 2007 that I have, and there was one of the articles in it, Speed to Wealth. How long does it take a billionaire to make $1,000? And like Oprah, it takes 8 seconds, and this person takes 27 seconds. This person takes 3 minutes. And it's just fascinating to see that wealthy people understand something that poor people don't understand, and that is this: time is more valuable than money. Rich people value time more than we value money. Poor people value money more than they value time.